All right, hello everybody. So very excited for you to join us. Thank you so much. We are here for episode 1 of Wrestling Extravaganza. I am super pumped for this. We've got some really awesome content here. The first of hopefully many episodes of this brand new podcast with myself, Greg Mitchell from UltimateSportsTalk.com, daughter in the background, and then also a really awesome friend of ours, friend of Ultimate Sports Talk, friend of the channel, super awesome supporter, and wrestling aficionado. We have none other than Mr. Jay Quick himself. So,
Hi.
Mr. Quick, would you like to give yourself a little introduction here?
Yeah, sure. I'm Jay Quick. I've been a wrestling fan since I was like 3 years old. I watch anything, even if it's bad. I, I'll watch midget wrestling. If it's, I'll watch anything because I love wrestling. And I'm glad that we finally are doing this after talking about it.
Right.
I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, man, me too. So, on the docket today, we've got two really awesome topics. We're planning on going for about an hour here tonight. So, for the first half hour of the show, we're going to talk about AEW Double or Nothing here coming up on Sunday. We're going to go through the matches. We'll kind of give our own dialogue, what we think is going to happen, a little bit of predictions, but more just a quick overview of the show. And then in the second half hour, we will swap over to Impact Wrestling and their Slammiversary 20th anniversary of Slammiversary show coming up here very soon. Unfortunately, I think both of us have been pretty disappointed with the booking so far. So, what we're going to
Yep.
do tonight, hopefully at your enjoyment, is some fantasy booking. What would we like to see Slammiversary look like? So, I'm sure there's going to be some surprises, probably some interesting thoughts from all of you. Feel free as we go through this here in the chat. I'm going to try to keep my eyes on the chat, and we'll bring up comments as they come up. If you've got questions or anything, feel free to do that. But with all that said, let's go ahead and get into AEW.
Let's do it.
So Sunday is the big day. And honestly, Jay Quick, I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten that this pay-per-view is even happening. Like, we've
Yeah.
been so
And that's
focused
on
on Forbidden
AEW.
Door.
And that's on AEW because all their focus, like you said, has been Forbidden Door this, Forbidden Door that.
Right.
Book your
Right.
own shows first.
Yep.
This is your anniversary. Book it like it.
Right. Yeah, it really does feel like more of an afterthought. I'm disappointed that there's been very little build up, and as we go through these matches, I mean, I was looking at this earlier today, and most of these matches, I'm thinking, I don't really care. I don't care. Most of nothing's going to happen in this one. I mean, a lot of really good wrestling will still
And whose
happen.
fault is that? That's
Yeah,
AEW's fault.
right. Yeah, and we've heard so much about Tony Khan being the master booker, and I have no doubt that there's going to be really good wrestling on the pay-per-view. But as far as matches that I'm invested in, it just really lacks, Jay Quick. I don't know. I don't know
And
how else to put it.
there's one match on there, friend, that I need you to explain to me on when we get to it.
All right. That
Because I
sounds
don't
good.
even know what it is.
Well, I hope that I can explain it. We'll see. So let's go ahead and get into the card. We'll
Let's
start
remember
with the pre-show, at least what's
this.
been announced so far. We've
Yep.
got the team of Hookhausen, so Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. What are your thoughts there?
My thoughts are I like Hook and Danhausen as a team. You can't have Danhausen lose his first pay per view match or Hook. So my thoughts are the Hookhausen is going to beat Tony Nese and Mark Sterling, but I don't think Tony Nese will take the pin.
You think it'll be Smart Mark taking the pin?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't see any way that Hookhausen loses this match. I mean, I don't really know where it would go if Hookhausen does lose. I mean, what's the benefit here? There's no, I
There's
mean,
no benefit.
there's no story or build from all of this. I mean, it's been kind of nice to see Hook, break out of his shell a little bit. We heard kind of his first words with Danhausen. We thought those two were going to go at it. Now Hook seems to be Danhausen's savior. Okay, I'm still following along, but Tony Nese and Smart Mark kind of came out of nowhere for me. They blindsided me in this whole story a little bit. I understand that they needed somebody for Hookhausen to go up against. It seemed odd that it ended up being these two, but
Yeah,
I'm
it was
not
odd.
invested. Again, it's gonna be a common theme that you're gonna hear throughout the rest of the night. I'm not invested in this match. I'm not seeing a lot of creativity or a story that makes me even care about the people involved in this match at all.
No, it's odd because look at Tony Nese, who's a great athlete, and then you look at Mark Sterling, who
Right.
why is he in the match?
Right. I thought he was a manager. Like what?
Like, why are you in the match? I mean, wasn't there anyone else on that roster you could have put Tony Nese with?
Right.
But if Danhausen and Hook loses, like you said, what's the benefit?
Right. I mean, if they lose, the only potential build that I can see, and it's not even a real build that I think people want to watch, is a Hook versus Danhausen type of match. But I mean, Danhausen just got destroyed a couple of weeks ago by Tony Nese.
Why
So
Tony Nese?
what's I don't have any interest in seeing Danhausen wrestle Hook. I don't have any interest in watching Danhausen wrestle Tony Nese. I like Danhausen being teamed with Hook to some degree. I think it gives Hook a different aspect to his character, where now you've got your voice, you've got kind of that comedic piece to tag on top of the ruthless muscle that is Hook. But I don't know, man. Other than them forming as a team, this match doesn't do anything for me. I'm
I just hope Taz stays out of it.
Yeah, right, right.
We don't need
Uh,
Taz.
let's see. We're getting some comments here in the chat. I'll go through them quickly.
Okay.
Real Dash Mar says, "Love that Danhausen or be cursed." Hunter
Thank you.
Dillon,
Thank you for the Danhausen.
yeah. Hunter Dillon, I woke up from a nap and almost found myself wandering into the Discord. Thank goodness I was paying attention. Hi, Alt and Jay Quick. One of my friends who Jay and I know always jokes I should be managed by Mark Sterling in wrestling. I'd rather be managed by Danhausen. Uh, that's funny, Dylan.
Hunter, you
Hunter.
should be managed by Mark Sterling. We've been over this.
And then Real Dash, if Hookhausen loses, I'll kill all of Hookhausen momentum, or it'll kill all of
It
Hookhausen
will.
momentum. Exactly. Yeah. Again, there's no payoff if they lose. I don't see there being any benefit there.
May I
Um,
piggyback off that real quick?
absolutely.
What momentum?
Right. Right. Yeah. There is none. There is none.
But they haven't even had a match together.
Right. Right. All right, guys. Well, I think we've talked about the pre-show enough. That's
Yeah.
the one and only match so far announced on the pre-show. I'd guess that there'd probably be one more based on what we've seen with other AEW pay-per-views, but who knows what that's going to look like.
If I had to guess,
They
it'll
still have
probably
time.
be like Sammy and them in a mixed tag or something.
Something. Yeah, you're probably right. So let's go ahead and go into one of the next matches that have been announced. So Jade Cargill, current AEW TBS champion, with Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet, defending her championship against Anna Jay of the Dark Order. What do
You
you?
want to take this first or me?
So I'll go ahead and go. Um, I know that Jade Cargill is one of the big faces that they want to promote within the company. I get all of that. She needed a match on the card. I get all of that too. Anna Jay, I honestly don't remember the last time I saw Anna Jay wrestle in a match. I know it's been a little bit since I've watched religiously, but I don't know that she's been on TV regularly. I think she's probably been on Dark a few times. But whatever made her the next in line for the TBS championship is beyond me. I think there's plenty others in the division that are way more worthy of a title shot. I also don't understand why Jade Cargill now needs two wrestlers on her side on the outside. I mean, we basically set up a new Britt Baker DMD setup, which is still going. There's not anything different. So why do we have a former champion doing it and a current champion doing it? It just doesn't make any sense. It's almost like AEW's run out of creativity here. So, and even thinking about the two wrestlers in this match, I don't see any way that they go into Forbidden Door if they even want to defend this championship at Forbidden Door. They may just put Jade Cargill on the sidelines for Forbidden Door, but I have no idea why they would go into that with Anna Jay as the champion. To me, Jade Cargill retains easy. This is one that I get why it was booked to some degree, but I have no interest in it at all. I think it's going to be a total walkthrough for Jade Cargill.
Notice, notice I'm smiling. I'm ready for this one.
Yeah, man, go. Let's see it.
Jade Cargill squashes Anna Jay in a minute.
Yeah,
Anna Jay, and you're right, she's wrestled on Dark in 6 women tags.
right.
She hasn't beaten nobody. If Jade Cargill loses this, it's because, the Dark Order, and me and Dash had a conversation about the Dark Order earlier.
Right. Yep.
That's the only reason they would put the title on her. Because, the Dark Order, she did it for Brody. That was a year ago. No offense, I love Brody Lee. But she shouldn't be a champion. Jade
Yeah.
Cargill squashes Anna Jay.
Right. Yeah. I think you're exactly right. I just don't see and to be honest, I don't really understand why this is needed. Jade Cargill's
It's not.
already a force to be reckoned with. Like, what does this match prove? It doesn't further any stories for her. It doesn't build up anything unless there's some sort of interesting run in that sets something big up. Maybe a surprise, new person who gets signed that nobody's even thinking about. I could see something like that, but I don't think that AEW is that creative to even do anything like that at this point. I think it's just going to be like you said, a squash match. It's over in a few minutes. The entrances probably took longer than the actual match itself.
There's only 2 run-ins that would interest me. I'm gonna bounce these off you. Our first podcast:
Okay.
Athena,
Yeah.
Candice LeRae.
Yeah. Candice LeRae, I think, only makes sense if Johnny Gargano is definitely going to show up later in the night. I don't think you do anything with Candice LeRae at this point. But I do like Athena. It's interesting though that you mentioned that because so for us that are here local to the Chicago area, Warrior Wrestling is a big independent company here. Thunder Rosa just vacated the championship, the women's championship, at their last pay per view because she had other responsibilities that she had to manage, such as being the new AEW Women's Champion.
Which we'll
So
get to later.
right. So and on that pay per view, Athena ended up winning the championship. So there's some history there. So I could see maybe something with Athena, but I still think that probably wouldn't work out well. Athena's still kind of bouncing around. She's trying to find her footing in the independents. I don't think she wants to jump into a contract or any kind of long-term relationship with anybody for a little while.
True.
So this would probably, if they did do something with her here, it would probably just be a one and done, or a 2 or 3 show, real small stint. I
Which
don't
would
see it
be
being long
okay.
term. Yeah, yep. I'm okay.
Because that's
Again,
what
I'm
they did with Johnny Impact.
right, and I'm okay with it if it builds to something else. If they do
Yeah.
something like have a run in, have some sort of setup, and then it builds to a match later on. I can get behind that. But if they just do a squash match in 5 minutes and it doesn't do anything for either wrestler, I don't get why it's even on the pay per view.
When
I
this
just don't.
match was announced, I was like, I scratched my head and I almost messaged you like, why is this match happening?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
It's
Why?
pointless.
So going to the chat real quick, we do have a couple of new names that have popped up to say hello. Mythical Punk, hello, welcome to the chat. He says Jade sucks. And then just your average Jen, thank you so much for popping in and saying hello. It's awesome to see you. All right, anything else to say about that one before we head to the next match?
What?
Yeah. All right. So on the men's side of the Owen Hart Cup tournament setup, we've got coming up this week Kyle O'Reilly and Samoa Joe to decide who goes into the finals to face Adam Cole. Um, do you want to go ahead and take this one first?
Yeah.
All right.
My my pick first tomorrow night is Samoa Joe.
Okay.
So I, but in my opinion, I think this is built for Adam Cole to win. However, follow me on this. It's going to be a screw job
Hmm.
because Jay Lethal is going to interfere with that big Indian guy who looks like Khali, or the undisputed elite or undisputed whatever they're called is going to interfere. Either way, Adam Cole wins the Owen Hart Cup.
Okay. All right. I think we're very similar here. I actually think it's the other way around. I think Kyle O'Reilly ends up winning against Samoa Joe, but for the
Ooh.
exact same reason that you said. I think we end up seeing Jay Lethal and that crew interfere, costing Samoa Joe the match. Then that sets up Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole. I think in my opinion, I think Tony Khan has a real thing for seeing those two wrestle each other. It's got its roots back in ROH and Japan. It's also got some NXT feel as well, which I know he was a fan of for their wrestling, their quality of wrestling as well. I see that happening there, and then at the pay per view, you get Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. To me, I think you still see Adam Cole win, but I'm gonna say they're gonna do another run in the finals. Um,
Hmm.
I I'm torn a little bit because I don't know if this makes sense here, but I would love to see a Kenny Omega return, setting up Kenny Omega and Adam Cole. I think that would really turn the wrestling world on its head, especially since the rest of this card is kind of trash, in my opinion. There's not really anything else that I'm looking forward to. I don't. The only caveat to that is I don't know if Kenny Omega is quite ready yet. I know he still has had some
He's not.
surgeries. They were talking about he might be ready for Forbidden Door. So if he did do something, it would have to be really, really light. There's no way he could do a match anytime soon. So this would all be on the microphone, all promos and backstage stuff. They wouldn't do anything until at the earliest Forbidden Door. But
Or
but that to me would be nice.
you could come out like maybe trip Cole by his like ankle
Hmm.
and then help O'Reilly win and say, you
Yeah.
tried to take the Bucks are with me.
Right. Yeah.
And then at All Out in September, there's your 6 man.
Yeah. That would be cool. I would like to see that.
You
Like
got me thinking now with that Omega.
well, we'll see. Who knows? But it should be, I mean, either way, like we've talked about, I
Yeah,
think it's going to be a good wrestling match. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole could wrestle with blindfolds on, and I think they would be able to put on a near 5-star match anyway. So I'm looking forward to it, but I don't, I'm not expecting there to be any earth shattering things. I just don't
no,
know that there's a scenario where Samoa Joe gets out of the semifinals. To me, I think and I think we're both saying the same thing. Like,
yeah,
there's gonna be a
yeah.
run in. They're gonna
Yeah,
continue
it's
this
gonna be
story
a.
with Jay Lethal.
He's
Yeah,
gonna lose.
yeah, yep.
It's
He's not
either
gonna win the whole thing.
tomorrow or at the pay-per-view.
Right? Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah, we're on the same page, only different winners in the tomorrow match,
So
which is
let's
fine.
so let's flip it on the women's side then. We've got Tony Storm versus Britt Baker in the semis, and the winner of that goes on to face either Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander. So I'll go ahead and take this one first.
Uh,
I think that they're going to continue on with Britt Baker. They know that they have something big with her. They continue to give her mic time. I know Tony Storm is a big face in the company now, but I think she can afford to lose a match without a lot of impact to her. If Britt Baker loses to Tony Storm, I think that has a greater impact to her. And you kind of are left with, well, what's next for Britt Baker then? So I see similar things with that we saw a little bit on the men's side. I think Britt Baker ends up winning the semis. She'll go on to the finals at Double or Nothing, and then on the Ruby Soho Chris Statlander front, they've teased it a little bit already with their promos. Chris Statlander, I think, was talking, and then Britt Baker interrupted her last week on Dynamite, if I remember right.
yeah,
So I think that's probably where they're going to go with it. That's AEW's style for creativity. I don't know that they can write any better rivalry than that, unfortunately. I think Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander is going to be a really good match. I'm excited to see that this week. But Chris Statlander, I think, ends up winning. And then you get Britt Baker, Chris Statlander in the finals at Double or Nothing. To me, I think Britt Baker ends up winning the whole thing then, and you probably end up having double Bay Bays as Owen Hart Cup champions. Who knows if they do any stories with that or not, but that's where I think that it's going to go. What are your
okay.
thoughts?
One, I agree with you on Britt Baker. She was my pick from the get go. But I disagree with you on the Statlander Ruby.
Okay.
I think Ruby wins. We get Britt and Ruby at Double or Nothing, and Britt and her little posse helps Britt win. However, I think this leads to a 6-woman tag coming up. Britt Baker and her posse against Jade and her posse.
Hmm. So how do you set that up?
Have Britt Baker come out because you'll have the two Bays
Right.
and have her come out say there ain't no one in this company better than me, and then Jade Cargill say, yeah, but I got a belt, and then Britt Baker says, yeah, because I haven't wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want it, and
Okay.
then they jump. Then Jade Cargill's other two jumps Britt's other two, and then they all jump Britt Baker, and at All Out or at our Dynamite, we have the 6-person or 6-woman tag.
Okay. Okay.
That came off the top of my head.
I don't mind seeing a 6-person tag. I like it, and I think you're right. It probably is best suited for a non pay per view type
Yeah.
venue. Dynamite or a Rampage probably makes sense. It'll probably be the feature match on either episode. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, it's like, well, okay, so whoever comes out of that with the win, where do you go next? Right? Like, you just can't, you keep running with AEW, you keep running into
The
roadblocks.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, great. So you're going to do something for, let's say, 3 shows, and then that's it. Like, there's nothing else for either one. You're just going to book them in individual matches until eventually you come up with a story. I don't know. it's tough for me to get behind. Now, again, for anybody who thinks I'm an AEW hater, I love AEW stuff, man. I love their
Yeah,
wrestling. They've got the best wrestling right now, bar none, on any
yeah,
of the three big shows. So I'm definitely not hating on AEW quality of wrestling. What I'm hating on is the creative behind the scenes, their ability to build a story that you're invested in. That's the part that I'm concerned about. And I do want to do a quick time check. We've got just about 5 minutes left on the AEW pay per view.
okay.
So I think we can probably combine two matches into one because my personal feelings are the same for both matches. Um, we've got Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Team Taz, which is Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. We also have House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King versus Death Triangle. That's Pac, Penta, and Ray Phoenix. Uh, to me, I don't care about either one of these matches, man. I don't. I don't care who wins. I don't care who loses. House of Black and Death Triangle has gotten a total of what, maybe 10 minutes of TV time this
If
entire
that,
month, if that. So I don't know what if they think that they've been building onto something, I don't know what it is because that match is not anything that I care about. Plus, we've seen it already. Like this
yeah,
has been going on for months, and we've already seen this. It's not
yeah.
you're not going to get anything but a decent match out of it. It just feels like it's just lazy thrown together. And then Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Team Taz. And sorry. For they also have there's another team in that tag team match. You got Jungle Boy Luchasaurus versus Team Taz versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Sorry that I left off Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Same thoughts though. I don't care. It feels very lazy, like they ran out of ideas for teams and they just thought, well, none of these three are doing anything. Let's toss them all together. I don't care. To be honest, I could do a prediction, but honestly, I think I'd just be picking the best of the worst. Nothing here interests me.
Yeah. I agree. Ain't nothing to say about those two matches.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Wake me when those matches are over.
right. So I
No
do
offense to
think,
Keith Lee or Strickland, but
right. I do think we've got four remaining matches that are semi interesting. I'll pick the least interesting one just because I think it's good on paper, but I don't think the execution is actually going to be great. The Hardys versus the Young Bucks.
uh,
The Young Bucks have been compared to the Hardys their entire careers. That's no secret. They've always been compared to the Hardys. To see them wrestle each other is something that I'm really excited to see, but at the same time, I wish that we had seen this a decade ago. I really don't know that I'm interested in seeing the Hardys wrestle at this point at all. I know Jeff Hardy's a name, and he continues to go out there and do the worst looking swanton I've ever seen in my life. I feel for his back every single time he jumps off that top turnbuckle. But it just feels like a shadow of the man that we all grew up watching. And I just don't think that it's going to be as good as everybody hopes it will be. Now the Young Bucks are a top-notch team. They're going to pull every last bit of awesome out of this match that they possibly can. I just feel like we're going to all watch this and leave feeling the same way, that we're just disappointed it did not meet up to expectations.
okay. I saw this match once in Ring of Honor. I when they announced this, I was like, seen it, done it.
Hmm.
My pick, I'll make a pick just to pick. I'll say Young Bucks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Because,
I
like
agree.
you said, the Hardys are a shell.
Yep. And I don't think that hurts the Hardys. That doesn't do anything to elevate the Young Bucks. But what it does do, the Young Bucks would be hurt quite a bit if they lose this match.
Yep.
They need to stay right up there at the title range, just below being the top contenders. But they need to be right up there because you're gonna see part three of FTR Young Bucks very soon. It's going to come in the next couple of months. So they can't do anything to tarnish their record or to make them seem like less of a team than what they are. They need to continue to be one of the top teams. They end up coming out the victors here.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go MJF Wardlow. What are your thoughts, man? Maybe the only match that they've actually built up.
Oh. Wardlow is going to take that scarf and shove it where the sun don't shine and get his contract and make Wardlow bleed. And I can't wait. Mainly because Wardlow's from my hometown in Cleveland.
Right, right. Yep, we that's something we have in common. That Northeast Ohio feel, man. It's hard to root against Wardlow. The thing that I love the most throughout this entire rivalry, one, we all saw this coming. I mean, we saw this coming a year ago.
Yep.
We knew that they were going to do some sort of split at some point, and the story that they've told is probably the longest standing story that AEW's had in a really long time. We saw the rift
Probably
starting
since
to
like
form.
Megan and Adam Page.
Yeah, um, yeah, probably. And even that I don't think went as long as this one has, because we
Oh,
started to see the rift, start to form when MJF would call out Wardlow to hand out the ring or to deliver a power
yeah.
bomb, and then he would sneak and get a victory for his run a couple years ago. So we started to see the seeds of all of this get planted. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a good show, but ultimately, yeah, man, Wardlow's gonna put his hands on him, and he's not gonna let go. It's gonna get ugly. Um, but I'm excited because I think they're gonna do something that we probably aren't expecting in this match. I just don't know what it is. They have to continue to have the sense of real that MJF has a chance against Wardlow.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do something to even the odds a little bit, and I don't know what that's going to be. But we have a
I
week to
don't get
figure it out. We've got two episodes left of AEW TV. Something's got to happen here to make it a little bit more even, and I just don't know what
And
that could be.
Wardlow has a match tomorrow night against Shawn Spears in a cage with
Hmm.
MJF as the ref.
Right. Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Oh man. Yep. All right. So we both say Wardlow. Let's head over to the series of bodies that are going to be tossed around all over the arena. Jericho Appreciation Society against Eddie
This is the
Kingston,
match
Santana,
that I
Ortiz, and
need an
Blackpool Combat Club.
explanation on.
Okay. All right. What's the explanation you need?
What in the world is an Anarchy in the Arena match?
Well, according to John Moxley, literally anything goes. Um, so yeah, anarchy in the streets, anything, man.
Why wasn't this blood and guts match?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. I don't know. Probably because they like to come up with their own names for things, especially those Jericho matches. You had Stadium Stampede. You had the orange juice mimosa, whatever it was, match
Don't
that he
remind
did.
don't remind me of that.
I mean, there's so many gimmick matches that you get with Jericho, but they're always well done. So I think this was their way of kind of turning that on its head. Like, no, Jericho's not going to dictate what happens here. We're going to give the reins over to John Moxley, and we all know that Moxley likes blood, man. So anarchy rules.
It's gonna be one hell of a good match.
Hmm.
I'll s- I- I'll go with Moxley's team to win.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of blood in this match. We're going to see a lot of tables broken, bodies literally all over the arena. I hope they've got plenty of security lined up because they're going to be going through the crowds quite a bit. Cameras better be on standby to be going all over the place. It's going to be hard to follow some of this action. but I am very excited for it. I guess I'm most impressed with the power that they have made people think that Jericho Appreciation Society might actually have. Because on paper, other than Jericho and Jake Hager, there's nothing in this group. They're
No.
really Daniel Garcia maybe, but he's been jobbing lately, so I don't know that there's really anything here. I'm expecting them to definitely lose this. Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, Blackpool Combat Club are going to come out the winners. Now, don't be surprised if there is a little bit of a rift there. Maybe you get a little bit of Eddie Kingston, Brian Danielson going against each other or something like that. But at the end of the day, I just don't think the Jericho Appreciation Society is that strong that they could overcome the other team.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Moxley. I hope they got ambulances on standby.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. All right, we're a little bit over, but we'll go into the final match of the evening that's been announced so far. Hangman Adam Page defending his championship against CM Punk. Let
You
you
want
kick
to
it
go
off.
with me?
Yeah,
Um,
go ahead.
I like both these guys, but right now the safe bet is Hangman Adam Page.
Hmm.
I don't see them putting the belt on CM Punk. Not yet.
Yeah. I honestly don't know that CM Punk will ever be champion. I think that he doesn't need the championship to be relevant. He's proven that since he returned. And I think that I've mentioned this before on our Twitch streams. When I see CM Punk matches and I see him struggle against the likes of Dustin Rhodes, who's nowhere near being a number one contender for any championship in AEW right now. I watch that match and I think, yeah, okay, this is a really good match. I'm excited that this happened, but why would people leave this match thinking, ah, yeah, CM Punk is definitely the number one contender now? I don't see it. I really don't. If he's struggling against Dustin Rhodes, you're not beating Hangman Adam Page.
No.
So I don't see, I think it'll be a good match. They'll tell a story. I really don't know that it's going to go anywhere after this match either. Which again is kind of the if CM Punk loses, what's next for either of them? I don't know,
Yeah.
man. There's
And
not
who?
a lot of long term thinking here.
And after this, who's the next challenger for Hangman?
Yeah. Yep.
Is it MJF? Is it Darby?
Well, I mean, MJF, what's he gonna? I mean, so he's gonna get destroyed by Wardlow, and then all of a sudden he's the number one contender.
The way Tony Khan books?
Well, right.
We book better. Come on.
I mean, if Wardlow after Wardlow beats MJF, if he doesn't go after the TV title, then I think you got to put him in line for Hangman Adam Page. He's one
I,
of the biggest names. He's got the biggest rise right now. The crowd always pops for him, and that the power bomb concerto that they do. I love what they're doing with him. That makes sense to me. Now,
I
I
got a
hope that they
sleeper.
don't do what they've done with every other opponent that Adam Page has had, and whoever the opponent has to go through all of Dark Order. I don't even.
Oh,
I mean, Adam Page is a paper member of Dark Order. I don't even know why they're still on TV or they're still relevant. It kind of circles back around to what we talked about with one of those first matches
yes.
with Anna Jay. What is the point? Get rid of the Dark Order. They don't have to go through this this matrix of Dark Order rejects. Let's just have them build up to the match. Can we just do that and be
And
done with it?
I got a sleeper for you. A little spoiler.
All right.
Think about this. Let's say Hangman wins, which I would assume, both think he will.
Mm-hmm.
Music hits. Out comes Miro.
Yeah,
That's a sleeper.
it is.
Ain't been seen.
He hasn't.
Or Moxley.
Maybe. Um, yeah. I think I'd rather see Moxley Omega again than Moxley Page, but it's not something we've seen much of, so
True.
I do understand why that would be valuable. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. This
But
is
we're
a tough
also
one.
trying to get in Tony Khan's head and figure out what he's going to do. That's a
Yeah,
bad place to be.
that's a bad place to be. All right. So there's double or nothing for you. Sorry we went a little bit over on our overview of AEW Double or Nothing, but it should be a decent show. The matches, of course, will be really good. We did skip over Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, but in interest of time, let's
Yeah.
just go ahead and give who you think is going to win. We'll cut out
Thunder
the
Rosa.
commentary. Yeah, Thunder Rosa is going to win. Yep. I figured that would be an easy one for us. So let's go ahead and dig in. We've got a little over 15 minutes left to go in the episode for this first inaugural episode of the Wrestling Extravaganza Podcast. So let's dig into Slammiversary fantasy booking. How would you like to go about doing this? Do you want to go first with what you think the card should look like, or do you want me to?
Go ahead, sir.
All right.
Thanks.
Let's see here. Bear with me. I did write all this down, believe it or not. I did some research and I put some thought behind it. So
Nice.
I want to see. Let me get it up. Let me get the my matches up. So I've got a pre-show and I've got the main card. I've
Okay.
got two matches on the pre-show. So the first of all, I think on the pre-show, one of the first things that comes out is Jeremy Borash returns to do a one night only on commentary. I think that kind of pays homage to his time back in TNA. Not really doing much or heard much from him since those days. So I would like to see that. The commentary booth, in my opinion, needs some help anyway. So I think that would go a long ways to help out with things. So that's one of the first of many surprises I have booked here.
Hmm.
Um, all right, so the first match, I'm going to say, and this is probably unlikely given what we've seen, but I would like to see it personally. So this is why it's a fantasy booking thing, because it's what I want to see, and I want to see it, man. So let's book it. Damn it. I want to see PCO take on Jake something.
There's an issue with that.
All right. What's the issue?
Jake something left.
I know. That's why I want to fantasy book it.
Ah. Okay.
I don't think he would end up signing a contract, but I think you could do a one night only with him. He's left the door open that he could return if he wanted to. For their biggest show in the foreseeable future, I think this would be really good. If it would help to put that on the main card, I could see them swapping out a couple of matches here, but I think this would go a long way, and it would be a really good match. It would prove a lot of why people think that they should have re-signed Jake something. Should have given him more, and it'll give Jake something a kind of a pedestal to stand up on and say, look, that you guys made a mistake. I'm the man. This is my chance to prove it to everybody.
Interesting.
All right, so second match of the pre-show, second and last match of the pre-show, and no, it's not Heath Slater and Rhino in a tag team
Thank
match,
God.
uh,
Thank God.
but it is a tag team match. Women's tag team championship match, actually. So I want to see the Influence take on the Beautiful People with Velvet Sky and Angelina Love returning.
Okay, you got me intrigued now.
I mean, both of them are in NWA right now. They've been flexible to work other shows. I think you could do a special Slammiversary only type of match here. They already have the relationship with the other member of the Beautiful People from way back in the day. Now Madison Rain and the Influence. So I think there's a lot that you can do here. There's kind of a built-in story that you could tell. You don't have to fight hard to book it or to explain it, and you could just have a good match. I think, and that's what you want to get the crowd going, to really get some buzz. I think that to me is the best scenario for the women's tag team match. I struggled because I really didn't see the women's tag team championships being defended on Slammiversary, but I'm like, it's Slammiversary. You got to do something with all the champions. It'd be really crappy not to do something with everybody. So this to me was the best of all the availables that I could find.
I like it.
All right. Well, with that said, let's go into the Ultimate X match. So for me, still keeping Ace Austin in it, of course, as the champion. I want Speedball Mike Bailey, Trey Miguel, Chris Bay, TJP, Amazing Red, and Suicide.
Oh,
Couple of names we're familiar with, we haven't seen in a while. I know Amazing Red is still wrestling. I think he does a lot of House of Glory, if I remember right. And Suicide could be
TJP's
anybody
in
that
New
they.
Japan.
Yeah, yep. So I think they could do some things, man. They've proven that they are fine working with New Japan. They could do something on loan for one night only, especially the biggest show, to get TJP. You got some talent there. You could do a really fun match with. I don't care who wins. I think you could get some of the best X Division, wrestlers in the world wrestling in this match, and it'd be a good one.
Mm, mm, mm.
All right, I'm gonna keep going. Here we go. I need
Go
some
ahead.
water. All right, next up, Digital Media Championship.
I forgot about that title.
I almost did too. All right, so Matt Cardona with Chelsea Green by his side, wrestling W. Morrissey and Rich Swann. Now, the W. Morrissey reason, they've been telling that story with
Right.
Matt Cardona, Morrissey, and Chelsea Green and Jordan Grace for a while. I think this is a good way to put that whole story to bed. And I wanted to get Rich Swann in a match. I didn't feel like the X Division Championship made sense for him, where he's at.
Mhm.
He's above X Division, but he's not quite at the heavyweight championship range. He's somewhere in between, and they don't really have another championship. He doesn't have another story that he's working through, but I feel like this is one that he could slide into and have a one heck of a match. So yeah, and Matt Cardona has been very entertaining in everything that he's done for the last year. So I think this would be a good one. All right, moving on. Tag team match, men's tag team. Not a championship match, but it is a tag team match. Violent by Design versus Honor No More versus the Good Brothers. I want to see bodies everywhere. I want to see violence. I want to see who's the best team of those three, because whoever comes out of that should be the number one contender, and it shouldn't be the Good Brothers again. We've already seen that with them going against the Briscoes. I don't need to see it again. And you'll be surprised at who my men's tag team championship match is next. But that's coming up here later on.
Okay.
All right. So I wanted to do. I wanted to bring back Taya, Valkyrie. And to me, it makes sense since they've already done some things with her with the AAA Reina de Reinas Championship. I thought it made sense. Let's go ahead and make it a championship match. I'd like to see her take on Jordan Grace. I think the two of them could have a really, really good match. I think Taya can withstand a lot of Jordan Grace's momentum and her strength, and still come back with some believable offense off of it. So I think the two would put on a really good match. I see Taya end up winning and still going back to Mexico doing her thing, and that'd be great. But I think those two would have a really good match. I don't want to see her and Deanna. I don't want to see her and Tasha Steeles. I don't want to see her and Mia Yim. I don't want to see her and anybody. Like, to me, I think that match is probably the best match if you're going to bring back Taya. And Taya has that history with Impact from her run as champion, years ago. So I think it'd be really nice, again, to pay homage to that history and to have her come back and do something good on Slammiversary.
I could see.
All right, Jay White in a singles match versus James Storm.
There's a name I ain't heard in a while.
I don't even know if James Storm is still wrestling. That's part of the issue here. But where my mind was going with this is from a booking perspective. You got the leader of the Bullet Club in Jay White, and you got one wrestler who has been in so many different factions over his career that you got a faction guy going against a faction guy. Which one is better? And to make it even like the cherry on top of the sundae, I got a special guest referee.
Oh, you do not.
I do. I do.
You didn't. You didn't. Not the first podcast. You're pulling everything. Okay, lay it on me.
All right. Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. Special guest referee. And for me, the rationale for that is he was also in one of the biggest factions during his time in
The
TNA.
Mafia. Main
Main
Event
Event
Mafia.
Mafia, man. He was the dude. Him and Sting. I think it makes sense. You could tell a whole story between those three and really build it up, and it could be something really really cool to watch.
And who
Um,
took the world title from Angle one time? James Storm.
James Storm. Yep. Yep. So you got that history. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think about that one. All right, I keep taking longer than I wanted to, so let me keep going here. Queen of the Mountain. I am going to keep it Queen of the Mountain, although I don't think the women's championship needs to be Queen of the Mountain. I just figured they're booking it like that anyway. Let me give it people that I actually care about. So for the Impact Women's Championship, of course, you've got Tasha Steeles as the current champion, defending her championship against Deanna Purrazzo, Mia
Mm-hmm.
Yim, Mickie James. I know we've already seen her, but she's an old timer Impact person, so it makes sense. And then I think they bring back on a one night only Sienna.
Ah,
Uh, Currently known as Allison Kay. I think you bring her back. It's a name that people are familiar with, but haven't seen an Impact in quite a while. You could do something good there. I was torn because I thought maybe like an ODB would be good here. You could do something there and have some fun with it. But Sienna to me is makes a lot of sense because she is still actively wrestling. She is, she's really good in NWA right now. She's in the independents all over the place. She's doing some good stuff. So you don't have to like get her to knock off any rust or anything. I think she could come in right now and do some good work for you. Um, Sammy, of course, Sammy Callahan. I'm going to keep it with the story that they've already got going, although I think it's a crap story. Sammy Callahan versus Moose. It's low hanging fruit, so this is probably the easiest of all of them that I did. But I like let's just finish the story and go to something else. Plus, I couldn't really think of anything good for either one of them. Like, all right, you've already got a story there. Just go ahead and do it. All right, men's tag team championship match. Briscoes defending their titles against the Motor City Machine Guns, reuniting for Slammiversary 20.
you're pulling everybody out.
I am, man. I'm telling you, it's fantasy booking. I don't mess
Well,
around when it's fantasy booking.
I'm giving you a spoiler. I gotta. three-way tag team championship match you're gonna love.
All right. Cool. Oh,
I
man.
called out some one night only people too.
All right. So this next one, the main event,
Mm-hmm.
and in reality, probably not possible, but I want to see it anyway.
Okay.
For a lot of the reasons I've already talked about with other matches and other surprise people that have come back. I want to see Josh Alexander versus Samoa Joe.
Oh my God.
Yep. I want to
Take
say I know
my
he's
money.
signed. They could do a loner type thing. He could come in, but he was TNA for a very long time. Him and AJ Styles. I don't see how you have somebody like that available out there as somebody who could work your show and you don't do everything you can to bring him in. I
Take
just
my
don't.
money.
Yep. Yep, take my money. I don't care if the Ring of Honor is mentioned at all. I don't care if the Owen Hart Cup is mentioned at all, if AEW is mentioned at all. I just want to see that match.
I
And
don't
it,
care if he comes out with the belt.
nope, doesn't even matter. Just it could be a non-title match. Just let them go. Give them 35 minutes and they could have one heck of a match and that'll end the night and everybody will be talking about it the next day. So
Ready?
that's my show, man. Yeah, I'm ready for yours. Let's go. Let's do this.
Okay. First, I bring back Mike Tenay.
Okay. Yep. I was almost gonna do today, but I went
I
Borash
bring him
instead.
back. Second, I'm doing a Hall of Fame inductee on the pre-show.
Okay.
My Hall of Fame inductees, and I'll make this quick, America's Most Wanted.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I like
Okay,
that.
my pre-show match, just because I needed people, I'll put Rhino and Heath on the pre-show
Oh.
against Ziggy Dice and Johnny Swinger,
Hmm.
just to get rid of them.
Loser leaves town match.
Yeah, hopefully they all lose, and we ain't got to see any of them.
All right. All right. Okay. I like where
Okay,
your mind's at.
I
Thank you,
only have
Dash.
one pre-show match
Okay.
because of the Hall of Fame.
Because you got the Hall of Fame. Yep. Yep. That's fine.
So my opening match will be a women's knockout tag title match, like you.
So real quick,
My match
sorry to cut you
will.
off, but Real Dash Mars just put in the chat that match with Heath and them will probably be a double count out.
Okay, then the fans win and they lose.
I
Okay,
love
so the
that. I love that.
knockouts tag title match. You know what? You and me, this is why we're a great partnership. I had the same idea. Madison Rain and her partner to kneel against the beautiful people. One night only.
Nice. Heck yeah, man.
But here's the curve. I put the knockouts tag titles on the beautiful people.
Okay. All right.
My second match will be second match is we'll do Honor No More with Chris with Eddie PCO taking on who do I want PCO against? I PCO will take. You know what? Monsters Ball.
Ooh.
I'm improvising.
All right.
PCO against Morrissey.
Oh, in a Monsters Ball?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Okay.
They could have a good Monsters Ball.
Yeah. My third match is the third. Okay. My third match is a tag team championships. Remember that three-way I said?
I do.
The Briscoes. The
Okay.
tall the tag team Hall of Fame, America's Most Wanted returns,
All right.
and the American Wolves.
Oh, wow. All right.
Davey
That's
and Eddie.
That's one I left off of mine. As you were talking there, I forgot Eddie, and I think you got to put him in somewhere in the show. I just didn't know where to put him. I forgot about him.
Tell me that ain't fantasy booking.
That's cool, man. I think
Okay,
I think Davey Richards would be down for that too.
so okay, you ready for my Ultimate X?
Yep, go ahead.
Ultimate X, six weight, Ace Austin, Trey Miguel, Speedball Bailey,
Yep.
Austin Aries,
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'd love that.
Frankie Kazarian,
Okay.
and the last person, Low Key.
Oh man. If Low Key didn't piss off everybody, that would be awesome to me. I
Yeah,
think
but
he's burned so many bridges, man. I don't know.
who cares? It's our booking.
I know. That's true. That's true. He hasn't burned your
Okay.
bridge, so you're good.
Uh, next match. You know what? I forgot about the digital media. So you know what? We'll do Cardona
Hmm.
against. You know what? We'll do a three-way. Cardona, Kenny King, and Jordan Grace.
Oh, okay.
Give Kenny King something.
All right.
My knockouts title match will be still Queen of the Mountain, even though I think it's a stupid idea.
Yep.
Tasha Steeles, Deanna Perrazzo, Mia Yim. I don't believe this name's gonna come out of my mouth because we talked about it at No Surrender.
Oh no. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Tessa Blanchard
Yeah.
and Rosemary. Yeah, I said the name
Oh.
Tessa.
Wow. Okay.
And Tessa wins the title. Just to watch, I just want to see it burn.
Oh, wow. All right.
Okay, you and me had the same match, Sammy against Moose.
Yep. Yep.
And my main event, buckle your seatbelt. For the world title, Fatal 4-Way. Josh Alexander. Brian Danielson for one night.
Oh, wow.
um, Christopher Daniels. And the last man will be, who was that? Where's that? Oh, All Ego, Ethan Page. And that's how you book fantasy booking.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, we did get some criticism in the chat.
Of
Um,
course.
Scooby says you can't forget Motor City Machine Guns.
Uh, okay, fine. Add them to the tag title match.
Okay.
Forward.
You get a four-way tag title match?
Yeah.
Oh man,
That
you know
works.
you're getting dangerously close to a 4-on-4, and we talked about that during No Surrender. How I hate those 10-man tag matches and stuff. You just get bodies tossed around all over the place, and it's like I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Elimination.
That'd be cool. That'd be a nice twist to it. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
elimination fatal 4-Way.
Real Dash Mars in the chat says for the digital media title, Cardona, Havoc, and Joey Ryan in a three-way.
That guy still exists? Joey Ryan? Okay, fine.
Oh man, actually, I
Throw
got
in
a
Matt
unique
Morgan.
idea. I don't know, Dash. So here's one Dash says. Actually, I got a unique idea. Sabin versus Shelley, 1 versus 1. I mean, I think they've already done that a few different times.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've
yes,
done that.
they're really good, but I think they've already come out pretty outspoken that they're not going to do that again.
Yeah.
there's no story to tell there. But I mean, yeah, in terms of a good match, I don't disagree with you.
But Saban and Shelley already said they don't want to do it again.
Right, right. All right, man. Well, we are way over time. I apologize that my portion took so long, but I appreciate you staying in there with me. Guys, this has been our first podcast. This is the first episode of Wrestling Extravaganza. If you're watching this here on Twitch, thank you so much for your support on twitch.tv/ultimate or alt sports talk. You can also find us anywhere if you're listening to this on podcast, anywhere the podcasts are downloaded. You can visit us on www.ultimatesportstalk.com. And you can also visit this video replay on our YouTube channel. Just search for Ultimate Sports Talk on YouTube. Guys, this has been Greg Mitchell from Ultimate Sports Talk. This has been Jay Quick from Ultimate Sports Talk. Thank you guys so much for your time. This has been a lot of fun. We are going to do this podcast regularly every week from 6:30, starting at 6:30. Some episodes we may do an hour, some we may do a half hour. Kind of depends on what's happening in the world of wrestling. But you can guarantee that at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will have another episode of Wrestling Extravaganza with the two of us, fun-loving Northeast Ohio dudes. So, with that, any final words, my friend, before we end this episode?
This was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, man, definitely. All right, buddy. We will see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a good evening.